Well, we're joined now by Dr. Chandler James from the University of Oregon. First of all, Doctor, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Zach.
Good morning. Now, Alice Barr left us with a perfect little segue, because that's where we're going to start our conversation today. Let's recap a little bit. The Trump administration rounded up some Venezuelan migrants here in the country. They accused them of being a part of a gang in Venezuela without any evidence provided, and decided to ship them off to an El Salvadorian prison where the president was waiting to pay $6 million and take them off to prison. On the way there was a court order by that district judge that Barr mentioned saying, do not do this. This act is, they haven't seen any court dates. They haven't been represented by a lawyer. There's been no proof provided to say that these people are part of a gang. Trump administration sent them to El Salvador anyway. What does that, for you as a political observer, what kind of red flags does that put up for you as you watch?
Well, so the number one issue here for me as a political scientist is the defiance of the court order issued by the federal judge. So Trump invoked a national security law dating back a couple hundred years as justification for his action. However, the judge blocked this, saying that it didn't accede to the conditions of this law. It's inappropriate in some way.
Something that's supposed to only be acted during wartime in the country.
That's the claim, right? And so it's debatable as to whether or not Trump's initial action is constitutional, that there's a process to determine whether or not it's constitutional. The issue is that once the judge said to stop the flights, the Trump administration continued in stark defiance of a federal order by a judge here in the United States, which has created a constitutional crisis.
Does that threaten the checks and balances in our country that are supposed to be this pillar of our Constitution and of our democracy, where, hey, if someone were to come in and get power and start using it however they want, we have a system in place to check those powers by going through appeals process, going through the court process? What does that defiance do to that sort of process?
Well, I think that we have to look at this particular action in the context of many of the other Trump administration actions, which are now in some process of adjudication in our federal courts. Yeah. Many of the things that the administration has done have been unconstitutional or claimed to be unconstitutional by people who were affected. And if he acts in defiance toward the court with regard to all these issues that are in the judiciary at this point, then it means that effectively the courts are not a constraint on Trump's actions, the administration's actions, which is really concerning. Now, the courts aren't the only basis to protect our system of separated powers and checks and balances. Congress, state governments, and the American people, the media, all play a role in this process. However, the courts are the primary backstop for protecting our constitutional rights, and so this is very concerning.
What else is there? What if a court makes an order, he says, no biggie, I just move on, continue to do what I plan on doing? What other backstops are there that are outside of the courtroom?
Well, like I said, Congress, state governments, all bureaucracies, all these parts of the government are a part of our system of separated powers. And so, that could be, those could be places where we could see some efforts to kind of stymie Trump, but the courts are supposed to be the way in which we adjudicate political conflict.
Sure. And now you talked about it a little bit. Congress is another place for that to happen. Currently, Congress is controlled by Republicans, and Democrats trying to find a way to once again regain a hold of their party as they continue to have some fallout in the after the Trump administration has taken over, people getting mad with Chuck Schumer over his decision to move along with the continuing resolution on the budget. We're seeing a fraction a little bit in that Democratic Party. How are you observing the Democrats in D.C. as they continue to try to take a stand against the Trump administration?
Well, I've been investigating the Democratic Party's political position over the past since the election, trying to make sense of American politics and the way that people view the two parties in our political system. Mm-hmm. And my investigations have uncovered some really difficult or alarming issues for the Democrats. So the cost of living is the #1 issue for Americans, and the Democrats are not associated with that issue. Mm-hmm. For the most important issues that Americans see facing America, the Democrats are not trusted on those issues. The Republicans,
border security, the economy, the war on drugs, things like that.
Cost of living, crime, etc. And the Democrats are known for climate change, LGBTQ policy, and those are not the most important issues to Americans, and that's what Americans think the Democrats care the most about. Yeah. And so a lot of people say that the Democrats have lost the thread in some respects. There's some credibility to this idea that the Democrats are just not speaking to the American people about the concerns that they have, and the American people don't trust the Democrats to address the issues that they care about. And so this, along with this Chuck Schumer, speaks to a Democratic Party that's in disarray, that doesn't exactly know how to confront Trump or exactly what it should stand for in the 2025.
Now, we're right on the heels of an election, it feels like, but already attention will be turned to the primaries coming next year. What do Democrats have to do to have a chance at regaining power in one chamber of Congress when that comes?
So I think in 2026, the Democrats have a good chance of retaking the House if they just let the Trump administration continue doing all these unpopular things. However, in 2028, if they are to win the presidency, I think that the Democrats will definitely need to retool and set new priorities to connect with the American people on the issues that they care about.
Meet again with that working class that helped bring them to power so much in the past.
Cost of living, economy, that's it. Make sure that you're addressing the people about what they are concerned about.
Dr. James, it's always a pleasure to chat with you in these early morning hours. Thanks for waking up so early and coming and joining us and speaking with our folks here. Have a great day. We'll see you next week, of course.